I'd like to call this meeting of council for February the 20th, not February the 6th, as it says on your agenda. I'm good at catching typos.
Thank you.
So I will call the meeting to order and express on behalf of Councillor Rudenberg her regrets as she is emceeing an event for the Winter Games tonight. I would like to recognize that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the LHTAKO DENE Nation. I would like to now get a motion for approval of the agenda of councils tonight. Councillor Runge, Councillor Vic. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we would like to get a motion to adopt the regular minutes of the last council meeting on February 6th. Councillor McKelvey, Councillor Goulet. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Now, it's at this point that it's indeed a pleasure, an annual pleasure, to welcome the ambassadors for the Quesnel Ambassador Leadership Program nominee presentations. So good evening and welcome to our 2024 Quesnel Ambassador Leadership Program Candidate SASH presentation. It's my pleasure to welcome the program coordinator, Rose Scott, the 2023 royalty, and the 2024 candidates to tonight's City Council meeting. After I introduce each candidate, please come to the front and receive your sash, a city pin, and your rose, followed by a photograph. Please remain up front until all presentations have been made so that we can take a group photograph as well. And I'm happy to say that Councillor McKelvey is going to help with the pinning tonight. So Councillor McKelvey, if you can make your way up to the front. And at this time, I would like to call the 2024 candidates one at a time. And I will say that we have a couple of candidates, Jane Cronkite, who is sponsored by the South Quesnel Business Association, and Ariana Dorn, sponsored by William Lacey Real Estate. They send their regrets they're not able to join us tonight. So I would at this time like to call Ariana Langan, and sponsored by Six Diamond Real Estate Incorporated, to come up to the front. Yes, I think we should do that. Thank you for keeping me in line.
Ask if they want to say a few words. Right? Ask if they want to say a few words.
Yeah, would you like to say a few words before you proceed?
Of course.
There you go. The floor is yours.
You want to introduce them?
These are our 2023 ambassadors, Jamie Lynn Fedoric and Avery Cassidy. As soon as they figure out the technology. I will say that at the beginning of my last term, I had the ambassadors into my office, and one of them asked me, what is the most challenging part of being the mayor? And I said, technology.
Is this working? Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Avery Cassidy, 2023 Quesnel Ambassador.
And I'm Jamie Lynn Fedoric, 2023 Quesnel Ambassador.
We would like to start this off by saying we are so proud of these candidates for taking their first big step into the program.
And we are very excited to see them become young leaders in this community. Thank you.
Well done, ladies. Okay, now I'm going to get back. Thank you. Get back onto the program here. And now I would like to ask Ariana Langan, sponsored by Six Diamond Real Estate Incorporated, to come up for your sash and your pin. Okay, so you're welcome just to stay up at the front here, and then when we get everyone sashed and pinned, Rose, you're trying to get my attention, aren't you?
We would like you to call up our sponsor, 6
Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay, I'm sorry. So I'm calling now the sponsor for 6 Diamond Real Estate Incorporated. I'm sorry, that wasn't on my program.
It's okay.
Okay, lovely. So next we would like, or I'd like to bring forward Taylor Wilwand, and she is sponsored by Reed Street Pharmacy. So if we could have the sponsor come up at the same time, that would be great. Wonderful. This is happening just as if we'd rehearsed it. This is perfect. Have we got the photograph yet? You're good? Okay, so now I would like to call forward Jayla Wheeler, sponsored by Mama C's Gifts and Giggles. And the sponsor, please. Okay, thank you for that. Next is Lacey Anderson, sponsored by Bushy Lake Country Store. And again, the sponsor, please. The sponsors in this case. Ted and Elwaz. Wonderful. Thank you. And Aubrey Williams, sponsored by Bliss, with an exclamation mark. Jazz, are you in the house?
I'll be Jazz.
Okay, you'll be Jazz. Okay. Well, thank you.
Rose for Rose, Joe.
Oh, Rose, come on up. We got a little something for you. Rose Scott is the epitome of volunteerism in our community. Thank you, Rose. And while I've got the floor, I guess I have the floor all night, but I just want to put in a big thank you to the sponsors, because if it wasn't for the sponsors, we couldn't be doing this. So thank you, everyone, and all the best to the incoming candidates. We'll be following you down the road as the program progresses. Okay, so that, I think, concludes our presentation tonight. Are there any closing remarks, or are we good to go? Okay. Thank you, everyone. We're just going to... We'll just take one moment to clear the room, and then we will get underway with our council agenda. Okay, now we shall move forward with the rest of our agenda. We have no delegations tonight. We have no items arising from previous special closed meetings. We have no unfinished business. We do have a committee report from Councillor Runge, and this is for the February 8th Policy and Bylaw Committee Chair Summary. Councillor Runge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as you guys notice, this is actually not really delayed. It's right after the meeting here, so you're welcome. Anyway, the purpose of this report is to inform all of you guys, all council, of what was discussed at the Policy and Bylaw Committee meeting on February 8th, 2024. So there's a quick summary. We looked at a short-term rental report. The Policy Bylaw Committee was updated and discussed the new provincial legislation to increase regulations for short-term rentals. At this time, because we currently still fall under that 10,000 person mark based on the database that they're looking at, no action is required. So the Policy and Bylaw Committee directed staff to research other municipalities' short-term rental bylaws and bring back policy options to the committee to permit short-term rentals. There's a recommendation below. The second one was the provincial government housing regulations. It was a discussion. We received an update from Director Turner about the new regulation changes. There are lots of them, and these changes will require a lot of staff work throughout the whole year, and the changes will include an amendment to the zoning policy, the creation of an interim housing report, and an official community plan update. And then we had a recommendation, and the recommendation was that the Policy and Bylaw Committee recommends to Council to take no action in 2024 with regards to the Short-Term Rental Accommodations Act and refer the topic to the Housing Solutions Table for discussion on impacts to housing in future years.
So that is duly moved by yourself, Councillor Runge?
I guess so.
I guess so. Okay, do we have a seconder? Councillor Goulet. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
And then just my final thing on next, I believe it's next week, February 29th. That's our next Policy and Bylaw Committee meeting scheduled date. So all of you guys are more than welcome to attend.
Okay. Well,
that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And now we will go to council reports and discussion items. There are none. City staff reports. We're going to go to admin report 45/24, development permit 2023-63 development permit application for proposed conversion to a commercial building into a 17-unit residential apartment with a parking variance 668 Doherty Dri. Director Turner to report.
Thank you, Council. Again, you saw this report earlier tonight with the public hearing. We bring it now so that the information is before Council prior to the public hearing closing. Again, the purpose of this report is to consider the DP, so that is a form and character DP, as well as a request for a variance for 3 parking stalls. The report goes into detail about the details of the recommended improvements to the exterior, which is the main portion of most of the building envelope. Won't change except for a few exterior upgrades to the building. The building footprint is pretty much the whole entire building, so it will not. There won't be a significant amount of landscaping. There is a fencing that was proposed. It was nice fencing, but unfortunately, it will not comply with the building code. So in this, that's why you see in this recommendation that it needs to be removed from the plans. The variance, again, reduces the parking stalls to 3 units. The owner has committed to entering into a rental agreement that advises tenants that parking is not provided in the unit. The proposal is for small units that are intended not to be concerning for or meant to attract individuals without vehicles. But as you heard, we do have a number of individuals that are still have come forth within the community in that area, stating that they are concerned about the impact on parking, and that was brought forth in the public hearing, but needs to be restated here in the DP as well. The process outline, again, is laid out for Council, and I'm going to ask for any questions.
Okay, so the floor is open for questions regarding this report. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much for the report. There's a lot in here, and I'm looking at the summary here, and the owner is committed to entering into rental agreements that advise tenants that parking is not provided. I understand that, and it seems a little challenging, you know, if people do have vehicles, it's not provided there, so they're going to have to park somewhere. For me, I mean, we're seeing a lot of pushback here about the parking. There's nine individuals that are opposed in that area. I'm wondering if it would be appropriate at this time to ask for a report to come back from staff concerning the parking.
Go ahead.
I think that is something that we can discuss following the public hearing. Nothing other than technical reports. So a report like that would be sufficient prior to moving on to third reading, if that's what Council desires.
Further?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to ask for that, because I think there are concerns here, and I think I'd like to I don't know if others would, but I'd like to dig in a little bit deeper and see if we can try and address the challenges here.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Elliott. Councillor Vic.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would agree with Councillor Elliott on a little bit more detail on the parking. But I guess my follow-up would be, what, beyond the applicant's commitment to ensuring that those without vehicles are renting these units, what technical teeth do we have to enforce parking on the street? Or I should say, what teeth do residents and people living in the vicinity, what teeth do they have through bylaw to help enforce our no parking on public streets?
Thank you, Councillor Vic. That I'll bring back as part of that report. It depends on the area, so I'd have to look specifically on what the parking requirements are in front and around the building to say what the teeth are, right? It all depends on the type of parking that's allowed in the area. And there are some general provisions in terms of that I'll summarize them all up when I bring the other report to you, if that's sufficient. Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone else on the, Councillor Runge?
Thank you. And I think this also revolves around parking. My question, I guess, would be, are we able to ask the proponent any questions? Or I remember years when this originally started, wasn't there another lot that we were looking at with regards to parking for this building? And if so, would that lot still be available?
Thank you, and I can address the consultant with that. This is the applicant with that question. Yes, definitely. In the previous applications, we were looking at another piece of land with that. So, but that isn't with this current application. So I can speak directly to the applicant on that. Yeah, at this point, the intention from the applicant definitely was that the units are going to be targeted towards individuals that are single, without vehicles, students, and as well as there's a number of accessible units in there that they suggest, they're individuals without vehicles would be utilizing. But that, again, I'll wrap that up in the report as well.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor
And
Runge.
just to follow up to that, because my experience with tenants might be that the tenants may not have a vehicle, but their friends or guests might, and then that's where that question actually came from that thinking that, well, where do visitors or where do other people stay if we're so tight on parking already now? Thank you.
Okay, is there anything further? It appears that we're going to be looking to staff for a report. I just want to remind council that we have had the public hearing, so we are not to hear any, and this is for the general public as well. Council is not to receive any further information from anyone other than staff, so please bear that in mind. Did you want to add something there, Corporate Administrator?
May I get a seconder?
Oh, that would be a good idea. Councillor McKelvey is seconding. Is there any further discussion? And this is to send it back to staff for a report on parking. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. So thank you. That concludes that particular piece of business. And now we will go to, one moment, we will go to admin report 39B24, City of Quesnel zoning amendment, bylaw 1954-2024, 118 Juniper Road, vape store. First 3 readings, Director Turner to report.
Thank you, Council. The purpose of this report, again, is to provide the first 3 readings to zoning amendment bylaw 1954 to create vapor retail store use and permit the use at 118 Juniper Road. As Council is aware, this did come before Council. We did rescind some readings and reissue a notice to make sure that there was no issues with the process. That notice has been issued, and at this point, staff is just looking for the readings, the first 3 readings for the bylaw to allow vapor retail store use. And amending the zoning bylaw for 118 Juniper Road to allow that use. The notice was provided that no public hearing was being required because it was consistent with the OCP.
Okay, you're moving first, second, and third reading, Councillor Elliott, and Councillor Goulet is seconding. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So now we will go to admin report 43/24 Development Permit 2023-63 Development Permit application for proposed 18-plus vapor retail store addition, 118 Juniper Road vape store. Director Turner to report.
Thank you. And again, this is the same project, but this is the development permit review. So this is the form and character review for that development. The development is proposing an 18-plus vapor retail store proposed to operate as an addition, requiring the amendment previously discussed. Signage will be reviewed in addition in a later application to staff. They're proposing minimal signage, and we'll work with a separate application on that. They're not ready to put that forward at this time. The property owner is intending to construct the building in conformance with the plans that are proposed on the attachments and described in the rationale letter. Staff has no objections to the form and character at this time.
Okay, so on the recommendation, moved by Councillor Vic, seconded by Councillor Runge. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We're moving right along here. So the next one is Admin Report 44-24, Development Permit 2024-68, Development Permit Application for a Proposed Single-Family Dwelling, Hillside Hazard Development Permit Review, Lot 2, Nickel Ridge Avenue. Director Turner to report.
Thank you, Mayor. This applicant is proposing to construct a single-story dwelling unit located near the toe of the slope that is located east of the subject property located on Nickel Ridge Avenue. The dwelling is proposed to be set back about 12 meters from the toe of the slope. A geotechnical report was submitted with the application by Octo Engineering, recommending that the dwelling be sited no closer than 9 meters from the toe of the slope. Staff have no concerns with this proposal as it exceeds the covenant that is on the property. As you will see in the recommendation, we are recommending that we have an update to the covenant on the property, though, to attach the new geotechnical report to that property. If there's no questions, I'll just move into the recommendation.
Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you, Director Turner. So just to be clear, because this has come up with a number of different properties in the community, and this is what we ask for, is the geotechnical report. So basically, this will cover us off legally if there were anything bad that took place in the future. We've done our due diligence and everything is covered off, correct?
Thank you, correct. We've had a professional review and provide us recommendations, and we will put that on in a covenant with the recommendations and noting that the city has done its due process.
Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a recommendation, and do we have a mover for that?
Did you want me to read it in, or would you like?
Yeah, read it in, please.
Okay, thank you. The recommendation is that council approve DP 2024-68 for the construction of a single detached dwelling on Lot 2, District Lot 51, Caribou District Plan BCP 31317, subject to the dwelling being sited to conform to the requirements of the geotechnical report submitted by Octo Engineering dated December 20th, 2023, and removing the existing covenant, updating with a new covenant referencing the Octo Engineering report prior to being provided occupancy.
Okay, moved out Councillor Elliott, sorry, and seconded Councillor Runge. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So now we have nothing coming out of council information package that I see. We have no correspondence. Now we're going to move to bylaws. And this is a call for first, second, and third reading of bylaw number 1954, City of Quesnel zoning amendment bylaw number 1954, 2024, 118 Juniper Road.
Mayor, we addressed that one under staff reports.
We did. We've done that one? I was just making sure. Okay, and now with regard to bylaw number 1956, we're just going to hold off on that one until we get a report from staff. Am I correct there?
This is the Carson Avenue bylaw.
So it is, okay. Bylaw number 1956, City of Quesnel zoning amendment, bylaw number 19562, 2024, 530 Carson Avenue, third reading. Moved Councillor Runge, seconded Councillor Elliott. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay, now we go to bylaw number 1957, bylaw, City of Quesnel official community plan amendment bylaw 1957. This is with regard to 668 Doherty Drive. And we're going to hold off on that one until we get the report for the parking, or can we move ahead with the second and third?
Just second.
Okay, we're just going to go to second reading at this point. So do I have a mover? Councillor Vic, Councillor McKelvey. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And finally, well, maybe not finally, we're going to go to bylaw number 1957. And this is City of Quesnel Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw 1957 regarding 668 Doherty Drive. And I guess we're going to go for second on that one as well.
Sorry, to clarify, it's the zoning amendment bylaw, 1958, and second, yes.
Sorry, did we just do 1957? Okay, so now we're on to 1958. Okay, so this is City of Quesnel zoning amendment bylaw number 1958, 668 Doherty Drive, and we're going to go to second on that one. Am I right? Go ahead, Councillor Runge.
So this bylaw is with regards to the parking? This last one, is this the one with regards to the parking?
Thank you, yes.
Yes, so I'd like to not move it until we get the report. Otherwise, we're already at third reading. Or maybe I
No,
should
we're not
go
at
to
third.
Byron. Do we move it ahead anyway? Like maybe it's process I'm not doing incorrectly here.
We're just going to go to second. We still have third and final.
My question is, why are we going to second if we don't know what the report is yet? So I just need clarification on that. Thank you.
Well, that's just following the due process, and that's why we have first, second, third, and final, so that we can do this. Go ahead, Councillor Vic.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate to move to second reading. It keeps the process moving. If something is determined during the investigation for the parking, then that could be a showstopper at third reading. But I think to keep the process moving for everyone involved here, we keep moving.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Vic. So where are we at? Do we have a mover and a seconder? Sure. Councillor Elliott, you're moving? Yes, sir. And Councillor Vic is seconding. Any further discussion on this one? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And so that concludes bylaws. Am I correct, Tanya? We're good to go. So we have no new business. Information and question period. We have no changes to our upcoming meeting schedule. We have no changes to committee appointments. Announcements and events, while we'd certainly be remiss if we didn't mention the Winter Games, it is upon us. In fact, that's why we don't have Councillor Rudenberg here tonight, because she is emceeing the Friends of the Games event, which I will be heading to immediately after this meeting. And I just want to put in a plug for the Kangaroos. They're doing very well, and I understand that they're going to have a game on Saturday night, and I'm hearing that it would be a late puck drop because of the Winter Games, but we're doing our best to accommodate a busy hockey agenda. Are there any other announcements and events from council? No? All right, at this point, I would like to open the floor to any gallery questions, and we have to remember that any gallery questions shall be addressed to myself as the chair, and must be an explicit question about a specific business item that was on the council agenda. Are there any questions from the gallery? Seeing none, I would call for a motion to adjourn. Moved Councillor Elliott, seconded Councillor Goulet. All in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you. Enjoy the games.